Welcome to KaiChi Live. I'm KaiChi, and this is my recap on the 2017 DuckTales. So before I begin, I should mention that this premiere episode is a two-part well, not really a two-part, more like it feels more like a two-episode instead of a two-part episode. In the first part episode, we get an introduction to all the main characters in this new series, DuckTales, of 2017. The second half of the episode, so basically is them having an adventure of getting to Atlantis and having an adventure inside Atlantis. So we see two groups. One is Gumgold, which he hired Donald, and three more new characters. Well, not three more. Yeah, three new characters that has been introduced. There are two wolf guys. I don't remember their name. One of them is Buzz or Buzzard, and one of them is Slash. I don't know which one is which. And there is a new female villain or a henchwoman. Her name is Gabby McStapperson. She sounds, I guess, Scottish maybe. Because it seems like I just noticed that they have a lot of new Scottish characters, but it doesn't matter. I'm just happy to see new characters. And the other group is basically Scrooge, his nephews, Huey, Dewey, Louie, Webbigail, and Launchpad. To me, the second part of the episode was like a three-story thing was going on, to me anyway. The first one, it seems like it was something to do with Dewey proving to Scrooge that he could be a part of the venture, have to have adventure. And the second one is we see Webbigail and with Louie trying to lie to her grandmother. Because it seems like Webbigail, since she's been, housed up in the house, she never lied to her grandmother. So it's like first time for her to do it. And Louie, being Louie, tried to do his best to help her. And the third part is basically Gumgold. Well, that's the whole thing. Gumgold tried to get to the Atlantis before Scrooge. And I guess there's another fourth part because like Donald finding out about Scrooge lying to him, taking the boys to somewhere dangerous, which he asked him not to. Donald was angry with Scrooge for him getting the boys in trouble. Into some kind of dangerous trouble. And he mentioned something about it's like the same thing that happened to them back a few years. Their last adventure. He called the adventure the Spirit of something. I forgot the name. And Scrooge, comments back that it wasn't his fault. Gumgo was the first one to come back in and come back to the city and was about to hold a press conference stating that he's the one who found the jewel of Atlantis. And Scrooge, being Scrooge, last minute stole his spotlight. And I find it strange, but I noticed that the reporters was more interesting when Scrooge came because like Scrooge has been out of the picture for a while, I guess, because maybe over 10 years they made the fallout between Donald and him. They were happy to see him, and he's the one to say that he got the jewel. And one of the reporters, she was like a green duck or maybe a mallard, I don't know, don't quote me on it, asked him what does Flint Gumgo had. I don't want to get Flint Heart for him, but anyway, Scrooge mentioned that the one he has might be cursed, and Gumgo mentioned that can't be true. Then all of a sudden he was attacked by a kraken, and you see Gumgo cursing Scrooge. Then Miss Billy showed up. She knew that Webbigail was lying to her, and she knew Louie was helping her, but she was just glad Webby was okay. Then we get also another touching scene between Donald with the boys, his nephew, saying that he maybe had been overprotected, and he would allow Scrooge to look after them once in a while during like a bunch of holidays. And cartoons, because like they somehow landed near Donald's houseboat. We see the houseboat exploding. Because remember in the first part of the episode, Dewey was hot wiring. He forgot to turn the houseboat off, and the houseboat end up exploding. And this is where Scrooge offered Donald and his rest of his family, to let him stay for a while. At the end of the episode, we see the Launchpad helping Donald moving his houseboat onto the pool at McDuck Manor, and we see the kids. We see Scrooge having fun with Huey, and Louie, and Webbigail. Having a sword fight, and we see Dewey just packing the stuff up throughout the episode of adventure. And this is where we get like important information. There was a portrait of like when Webbigail, telling that like the stuff that with Donald and Scrooge that they were both adventure. We get a portrait of basically a boat with Scrooge finding the ghost pirate and Donald swinging from a rope, and we notice like a corner top. Anyway, like the corner upper right corner, he noticed there was a rip. So when Dewey noticed like the rip corner, and decided to complete it. It wasn't rip off. It just like it was off the frame. So he smooth it out. This is where we get like a surprise. And it turns out there was like another third person or third Doug a part of the Donald and Scrooge's group. It was turned out their mother. And I think this might be the first time we actually get like a cartoon version of the mother. The mother was like always appearing in the comics, but not even the official comics, because like it was like Duck's Donald Duck and Scrooge comics was much more power like outside the United States, and they are usually a guy named Don Rosa. I'm not sure he's like the main one that wrote most of the comics. I'm not sure it's even published here, but it was like published outside the the United States. Anyway, the point is, this is the first time we actually see their mother. She was wearing a pilot outfit, like in one of the stories I read online. That Donald wanted to be something to do something with a boat, and she wanted to be a pilot. It turns out she might be the pilot of their group, and maybe the falling out was not between Scrooge and Donald, but Scrooge, Donald, and their mother Della. It's Della. I'm not sure if that's the official name, but that had been used in the comics. So maybe that's the reason why Donald has been overprotected. Maybe something happened to the mother. Overall, this was a good episode. We get an introduction between all the new characters and a new incarnation of the characters. We also get like a through line. It seems like a new thing for cartoons to have, like a story going behind the story. Like they gonna have like each episode of one time episode, but like back in the background, there's a story going on. So I guess I read somewhere online. The first season is focused on on the mother. Maybe what happened to the mother, or maybe and we might actually find out the fallout like 10 years before. I mentioned the 10 years before, but it was mentioned throughout the first part of the episode actually. That since the boys are like maybe 10, because like in the original incarnation they were 10, or this time around they should be 10 or younger. So if something happened to their mother, I don't think anything actually. It seems like something happened to the mother, the cartoon, but I don't think anything happened to the mother, because like I mentioned before, the boys are 10 or maybe younger. If something happened to the mother, I'm guessing that something happened to Donald and Della, his twin sister, made Donald to be protective of her boys, and maybe that's the falling out between all three of them. But still, I'm looking forward to future episode of this new occasion. DuckTales 2017. But unfortunately, it's coming out. The new episode are coming out next month, end of next month. So we'll wait for at least a whole month to see them. And I want to know if they actually will she actually show up? Their mother, because it'd be fun to to see her side of the story. Of course we are, and we actually see what happened to the fallout. Because like Donald would if something happened to your sister, Donald would have let them stay or even meet Scrooge no matter what, even with the the babysitter thing. But then it's cartoon, so we don't know. So, but still, I'm looking for a future episode, which unfortunately coming out next month. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, hit that like button. Go here to watch my previous video, and click over here. Subscribe to my channel KaiChi Life for future nerd geeky videos. Thank you.